What's going on, guys? Episode 12 of the SlashFF podcast. Michael's not here because he's busy being a person who respects women up in Canada.
Dirty French Canadian.
Anyways, so he's in Canada right now, and it's just me and
Oh,
Will
I'm
here.
wearing my Toronto hat. Let's go.
Yeah, but you're not French Canadian.
I know. That's why.
So it's just us. We are currently, it's Wednesday, the day after group stages of MSI, and some shocking things during the group stages. SKT.
G2 didn't make it out of groups.
No, that's not what happened. Where do we begin here? Do you want to do this by a team by team format, or do you want to?
Do you want to get through the teams that didn't make it through?
No, that's what I mean. We can go up the ladder of teams.
Yeah, let's just go. Okay, let's go up.
Fangwu Buffalo 2-8. The only two wins they got were over G2 Esports.
Woo! Let's go, Fangwu.
That is very surprising to me. I thought Fangwu, if they beat anyone, it would have been Flash Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
I was very shocked to see G2 lose to Fangwu twice because I know some people, when they look at G2, they think they're a very aggressive team, and it's like, oh, this team just runs at you. But in my mind, I actually feel like G2 isn't as blindly aggressive as IG. They try to approach things a bit more cerebrally, and they try to think about their setup, whereas IG does more of that blind aggression. So I was very surprised to see G2 actually get baited into some of the fights that Fangwu wanted to take them on. So I was very surprised, but to be honest, I expected Fangwu to go 1-9, so they did one better than I expected. What about you, Will?
Yeah, I didn't expect them to do that well. I thought they would I honestly thought, if anyone, they'd take a game off of Flash Wolves and maybe Liquid.
Mm-hmm.
But after Liquid 5-0'd them in every game, they were 5-0 against Fangwu, and then I saw G2 lose to them the first time. I'm like, oh, it must have been a fluke. They must have just had a bad game and inted. And then they played them again, and they just got stomped again. I don't know how. Whatever. Just unlucky. Remake the season, dude. Remake MSI.
I don't think there's too much to talk about with Fangwu. I mean, they had that.
I just thought it was funny how the EU Reddit was talking about, because G2 was second place. So EU G2 second place at MSI, second best team at MSI or in the world or whatever.
And
then they just lose twice to Fangwu, and it's oof. That's a big oof right there.
Yeah, So Fangwu, of course, they also had their game against IG that went decently. That was a clusterfuck of a game. I was driving back in the morning and I just heard oh, Fangwu pick up the pentakill or whatever, and I was like, holy shit, what's going on? But I think IG obviously didn't care very much in that game. But yeah, Fangwu kind of did what they expected, kind of did a little bit better.
At least they had an entertaining game against Flash Wolves with the full Let's in the Try comp.
Yeah, so moving on to Flash Wolves, again, we did not expect them to do very well, and they went 3-7, so pretty much kind of as expected. I thought Flash Wolves would have went 2-8. I didn't think they would beat TL, so I thought they would have just beat Fangwu. But Flash Wolves did pick up the one win over TL, which actually worried me because I was thinking that Flash Wolves still has potential to be a decent team. I don't know too much about their support or jungler, but Betty and Hanabi were always pretty solid on the old Flash Wolves team, and Rather was the sub mid laner for Griffin. So them being able to win LMS is still a statement. So them taking one game off TL isn't too surprising. I was a bit worried though that they might force a tiebreaker situation, but luckily that didn't happen.
Yeah, we know how NA are in tiebreakers.
Yeah.
It would have been rough.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm not very excited about Flash Wolves moving forward. I think they do have some obvious strengths in Betty and Rather, but I don't think Hanabi is insane.
Betty's got to go. Got to leave. Got to get out.
Yeah, Betty probably should go to LPL, to be honest.
Play for the new KT roster.
Play for Immortals.
Oh, God, that'd be pogging.
We'll talk about that after.
Immortals Betty, baby. Let's go.
So after that, we have coming in fourth place, Team Liquid.
Poggers.
Let's just say this was pretty much expected, though. Let's preface this by saying if they didn't get fourth here, it would have been probably the
They would have
most.
been really. I would have cried. I would have been so
It would
sad.
have been really scuffed if they didn't get fourth here. They were against Flash Wolves, who was extremely weak, and Fangfu Buffalo. If TL didn't get fourth here, this would have been absolutely scuffed. Now, we were not surprised that they dropped games against IG and SKT. They did put up some solid performances into IG when IG made some bad decisions, and I mean, we kind of suspected that there would be situations where TL does end up taking good fights. I thought they would do that more against G2 as well in the first series, but in the second game into G2, TL actually coming out on top, not just because G2 opted into like some bad fights, but because TL actually got ahead early game, and they were able to keep the game within their control, within their lead, which was very surprising to see G2 kind of get, I don't know, wrecked like that. Caps pretty much ran it down that second game against TL.
Yeah, Liquid didn't have the greatest showing. Like they 2-0'd first day, but they should have 2-0'd first day. And then every game against SKT they looked horrible. The first game against G2 they looked bad. Actually, against the games against IG they actually looked okay. It was probably their best out of like the big regions that they played against until they beat G2 the second time. But against the IG, the second game I want to say, no, the first, it was the first game or second game where they aced them mid, and then they lost off a one team fight. I think it was first game, but I think they actually look okay against IG. I think SKT just beats them at their own style because SKT is pretty controlled too.
Mm-hmm.
And then Liquid wants to play that controlled style, and then they're just better at team fighting and know when to engage and shit. So I think Double's interview he did say that this is probably a better match for him. I think I would agree. Even though I don't think they're gonna beat IG, I think they have a better chance of looking okay. Because if they take one game off them, I'd be happy. Going into like Worlds or whatever. I just want to see them show up. Like I don't care if they lose. I just want to see them actually like. I don't want it to be a 3-0 series where they get stomped the entire time. Like I just want to see them win. But like
We can
SKT
talk
just
about the
stomped.
series afterwards then. We can move
Yeah.
on to G2 then, who actually ended up third. Now, G2 coming into the tournament was very contested by most people as either the second or third place team with SK Telecom. But after the first few days, G2 clearly showing up a mark above in terms of their understanding of the meta, or at least what IG were also doing. So people put G2 a mark above SKT, and they did hold the 2-0 over SKT for multiple days. Until the very last day when they faltered against TL, Buffalo, and SKT were able to prevail against IG. So one thing is that I have a weird time just like fathoming G2's loss against Fangwu because again, I don't think G2 is stupid. They seem like a rather intelligent team in terms of like what they want to do in game. But the first game I can kind of understand like if you kind of drop one game, but the second game is like I don't know. They almost looked tilted how they were kind of playing into Fangfu. And yeah, I don't know. And then secondly, against TL, I was surprised at how hard they got countered early with X Smithy's ganks. I thought they would be playing very aggressive all three lanes with Yankos, pressuring X Smithy, but it almost felt the other way around where G2 mid and bottom lane were kind of collapsing with X Smithy there to counter. So I don't know. G2 is looking weak going into the semifinals, but we do have to remember in LAC a similar phenomenon kind of happened toward the end of the split where G2 almost seemed like they cared a bit less.
Yeah. I think G2 definitely looked really good the first day, and then they looked pretty rough uh, the second half of MSI. But I still think they're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
I do think that they're very volatile depending on how their early game goes. Caps and lane seems to be pretty volatile as well. Um, but I think they're a good team. I think they're gonna struggle against SKT. Actually, I think SKT is kind of worked out the kinks a little bit, and now they've played G2. They kind of know how they work. And I don't think Perks is actually. I don't think Perks and Mickey have actually been that great bot lane together. I think they're actually one of the weaker bot lanes there. But I don't know. I don't. I think it'll be like probably like a 3-1 maybe
Okay.
in their series, but
Well,
I
let's
thought
move
they
on
played well.
to second place, SK Telecom. So SK Telecom finished the group stage 7-3. They dropped one game against IG and two games against G2. Um, so going into the group stage, SKT, of course, the expectation was excellence, but dropping the games against G2, everyone was thinking it's fucked for SKT. And not just because they lost, but the manner in which they lost felt very, SKT wasn't doing anything, and especially the first game, it felt that way. And then IG, the 16-minute stomp, which they picked Sonatark into, and everyone was like, all right, SKT scuffed here. But most importantly, the final day of group stages, SKT was able to take down IG, ending IG's 9-0 win streak. Now, SK Telecom still seems to struggle with top lane. Khan sometimes, especially at the beginning of the tournament, really had moments where it felt like they didn't know how to coordinate with him. And same thing with Mata sometimes. Mata seemed to be setting up a bit early, and that would lead into his death a few times. But I think Clid, if Clid is the one shot calling, he seems to really be pushing this team in a direction that they need to go to contest these early fights. And once they got ahead, we could see that Faker, still a monster on Rise, is definitely able to contest all the other mid laners at this tournament. And that makes SKT a pretty formidable team going into the semifinals.
Yeah, I thought SKT was pretty good. I don't know. I think Teddy's really good. I think Faker's not overrated like everyone says. I think he's just able to play a more controlled style. He doesn't have to 1v5
So it
every
was
game
interesting because
anymore.
Dracos today on Diphoria said that he would rate Caps and Faker the same right now. 50 that measured as a
Yeah,
coin
don't
toss.
listen to. I hate Dracos. He's so annoying. He's the king of jerking off EU until they lose, and then he's just like, I didn't mean it.
So I can't see Caps Faker as a coin toss, mostly because Faker's performance seemed very indicative of how the teams. And I'm not saying Caps is bad either. I don't think Faker can roll over Caps. I don't think Caps is stupid, but I don't think it's a coin toss in the way that like either side is gonna like crush either side. I think Faker has a slight edge, much like how Rookie gets a slight edge over Caps, but I don't think Faker can push the advantage like Rookie does, because Rookie plays a lot more greedy in how he wants to like take advantage of things. So even though I think Faker is better, I don't see him rolling over Caps. But I also don't see Caps rolling over Faker. In those games in which G2 won, it felt like the map was collapsing around Faker rather than him actually losing priority on mid lane. Yeah, I can't see that personally.
Yeah, I kind of just like whenever I hear Dracos or Frost talk, I kind of just like tune them out. Cause
All right, well, we'll move on to the number one team coming out of group stages. IG, 9-1, only
who would have
faltering,
thought?
yeah,
Uh,
only faltering once to SK Telecom, but they also set a record with the 16-minute game with Jackie Love on the Draven against SKT's Sonatark bot lane, in which they probably first tried that in that game. IG looking very dominant, but also looking reckless at times. But I have a hard time really rating IG and reading what their level of strength is because we've seen in LPL in the regular season sometimes they don't really care very much. In a lot of these games against the wild cards, especially against Fanghu, the first game we could clearly see they did not care too much. And also against Flash Wolves on day 5, they also drafted the Ivern. So I think IG,
the Iron was so spicy.
yeah, IG is very it's a very cocky team in how they want to approach the game. But so I mean, I have a hard time rating them. I still think they have some issues with the Shy like communicating when they want to actually like pressure all the lanes. But they're so dominant as like individual players that I feel like even in bad situations they'll just outmuscle you, and that's really dangerous because that means even if you play smarter, you can get fucked.
I think IG had some of the best plays from solo laners, and then some of the worst at sometimes. Like the Shy ran it down one game as Kennen,
Yeah,
and
07.
then and then he ran down another game. But then they're just so good that they can just make up for that with their
Yeah.
other lanes. And the game where Shy was playing Akali, just styled on G2 was hilarious. The Ivern was insane. I don't know how they let him steal Baron.
Yeah.
Like he was just sitting there uncontested with him and Daisy, and he gets a double kill and stakes Baron. It was so funny, but
Yep.
IG's just that good. I think they are a cocky team though. but I don't think they have anything to fear, at least against Liquid.
Yeah, so I mean,
As much
so
as I love NA.
that means going into the semifinals on Thursday, IG did select Team Liquid. It's IG versus TL, SKT versus G2. So to start off with the IG TL series, I think everyone would not predict TL, but here's the thing though. I actually think TL will take a game. The group stage games were indicative of TL's ability to actually like catch IG out on smart fights, which is what I expected them to do. And uh, I think that a big factor into TL being able to take games off IG is that this being in the semifinals, I think IG is going to try to prepare against the other side of the bracket a bit more, specifically SKT and G2, and watch what they're doing. And that might result in them focusing a bit less on TL. And TL, with the adaptations they've made and how they want to play with Xmithy, I think might actually shock IG in at least 1 or 2 games. And I think one of those games could possibly be a win, another one IG can still come back from. So yeah, I actually do think TL definitely has a high chance of taking a game off of IG, but like I said before, IG's players are just out muscling them. Jackie Love and Baolon aren't getting fucked hard enough by pretty much double core GJ that the bot lane would be a huge factor. So IG win, I would say 3-1.
Yeah, I'd agree with the IG 3-1 or 3-0, one of the two. I think Liquid is good enough to take a game off of them, but I think they can't win a best of 5 against them just based off. I don't think because they can't take away picks
Mm-hmm.
from IG because they're not good enough to flex Akali. They can't flex Jace. They can't flex Rise as well. Like they have a lot of issues when it comes to that. So I'm hoping they can just show up one game and just maybe outmuscle them. But I don't think Impact's been the problem this tournament. I think he's actually been playing pretty well compared to. I think Jensen's kind of underperformed a bit.
Well, I don't think Jensen's underperformed. It's just as a player, his level is lower than the
Yeah,
others, right?
maybe. I don't know. I just expected a bit more out of him, but maybe not. Uh, but I don't think Impact's playing well enough, and he can't play some of these other picks. Like the Vladimir was okay, but I don't think you pull that off.
Yeah.
I think that's like a once in a while. I think that's just Xmithy having such a good early game that Impact just got some free kills and some free KP.
Yeah. What have you thought of Double Lift's performance? Because I'm not too hot on Double Lift right now. I don't know about you. If you feel like Double Lift has been holding up his end of the bargain for what their team
I
needs
think
to do.
he's see. I think he's some games. I think Double's playing like double lift, and then some games I think he's just playing kind of scared.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I told you about this in I think a Snapchat you. But I think NA has a vicious cycle going on um, where Team Liquid, not in Team Liquid, but like the NA,
Number 1 seed.
yeah, number one seed has failed so many times at international events that NA is like, oh, we're screwed at Worlds, stuff like that. But then like the NA team that's going, it's like, oh, we're gonna be the team that breaks it, and then they have so much pressure from the community, the fans, their organization, and themselves to be good that they play scared on international events because they don't want to look bad, but they just play worse. And then they come back and it's like, oh, NA failed again, and then just repeats the cycle of this vicious cycle of people like putting pressure. Like, I think that's why Cloud9 did so well at Worlds because they kind of are like memers. They don't seem like they take everything so seriously. They're not like a super like professional like I mean like professional
Hardcore, high
team.
pressure environment team.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty relaxed environment. I think that's why they did better at Worlds. I think Liquid has just I think Doublelift especially has just this weight on him of trying to be the guy, be the team who beats them, and he just puts so much pressure on himself. Like Xmithy that first day looked horrible. I don't know. I think there was pressure on him that first day. The middle of MSI, I think he looked pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I don't know. I think if they're gonna win, they gotta shove that off their back. Hopefully, getting on the groups broke that a little bit, but they need to. I think NA as a whole needs a bit of a culture change if they want to compete at the highest level.
Okay. All right. So, looking at the other side of the bracket, the other semifinal on Friday is going to be G2 versus SKT. Now, I know that recent performance, if we have recency bias, people are going to say SKT is going to win handedly, but I actually do think it is very important that G2 is actually 2-0 over SKT. One of those games, G2 played very cleanly, outdrafted SKT, and were able to hold their lead. Another game, SKT was not respecting their champion picks, and G2 was able to make comebacks with smart, proactive map plays. I think these two games show that G2 is actually a very smart team. I don't think people should discount that. And I actually do think that if G2 takes like more than one game, I think that means SKT didn't adapt well to G2 and they'll actually end up winning it. But I still have faith in SKT to be a different beast during best of five, as they've shown to be. I mean, this is just historical with how Korean teams play. Is that in best of five they have better adaptation. SK Telecom specifically has been that kind of team. We can even look back to 2016. I know the meta is different, but they have been looking to change their drafts. And then also against IG, you know, if they can withhold IG, that gives good evidence that they are able to withhold G2 in a similar fashion of how they want to play out their early game, especially with Clid. So I think ultimately it will be SKT 3-1. I think G2 is smart enough that they can do stuff around the map that will hurt SKT. But honestly, I think if G2 takes more than one game, G2 will actually just straight up win the series because if G2 is taking more than one game, that means SKT is being caught off guard and that they did not adapt well to what they were supposed to during semifinals.
Yeah, I think SKT G2. I think G2 actually takes game one, and I think SKT sweeps them from there. I think if G2 is gonna win, it's going to have to be they come off the bat strong and winning. I don't know how good G2 is from playing behind, as we've seen in their
Like the
LEC,
TL game as well.
at least in games, yeah. Like from playing from behind, like they have to come out and have a really good early game because I don't think that they can come back and win it. Because if you look at who like Perks doesn't play these hard scaling AD carries either.
Well, the thing is, I think they can come back from an early game deficit because I think LEC like they've had their issues early game sometimes, but I think a mid game, if they get like out, if they lose objectives mid game and they end up losing pressure like on towers and around the map, that's when I think G2 will falter because then I don't think they'll be as good like later in the game. I think like if very early game they have some deficits, that hasn't been too big of an issue, but I do think mid game, like if they fall behind mid game, they're really fucked. Like that's where they'll have the biggest issues. Because I think like yeah, because like even when G2's behind early game, they do stuff like put teams in like these positions where it's kind of hard to decipher, you know, what's the best rotation to kind of attack what they want to do and how they're setting up vision. So yeah, I think you know G2 can be volatile sometimes too with how the laners play, but I think they'll be smarter in playoffs. It's just yeah, I mean if SKT controls them, it should be pretty clean from SKT's side. But if they're not controlling them, then G2 will take the series because then that's poor adaptation from SKT.
Yeah, I want to see. I just want to see IG versus SKT in a 5 game. I think that'd be interesting.
All right, so in my opinion, if IG and SKT face in a 5 game, I actually have IG winning like I have IG winning like 3-0. So all right, I'll explain. I think if IG and SKT play like right now, I actually think IG would smash SKT like 3-0, which is it's funny to say, right? Because SKT just won a best of 1 against IG, but I really think that in a best of 5, I think IG's not gonna be as retarded. Like when I look back, yes, IG has their moments of int even in best of 5. I can't see them. Like they've played against Clid before. They played against Clid when he was in Jaedong in this season before. And when Clid wants to do early pathing, he probably takes very similar like paths and commands his mid laner in a similar way because he wanted Yagao to play aggressively for mid jungle 2v2. But they never beat IG with that. And it was impressive that SKT was able to do it like in the best of 1. But right now, I actually just if IG plays like they did against the other teams, and they attack Khan and leave Jackie Love to kind of do his own thing, and Jackie Love plays consistently like he did, and they end up not inting, then I just don't see IG losing again like in a best of 5 setting. But yeah, I mean that's just my 2 cents. I have to see what SKT also looks like in best of 5 because we haven't seen them do best of 5 outside of their own region. We've only seen IG do that so far.
Yeah. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, we can make a more accurate prediction once we actually see the thing, but we probably won't have slashff again until after MSI. So, but yeah, so that's all for the MSI topics, pretty much. I think MSI. I would really love if the MSI format was the top 2 teams. Of course, I think that would make MSI a lot more interesting. You could see a lot more region strength if it was the top 2 teams, because then Griffin would be here, Origin would be here, TSM would be here, and what was the other Chinese team? Jaedong would be here. Yeah, so I mean, I wish MSI was top 2 teams. Now, exciting news in the NALCS, the best region. Optic is perhaps being bought out by Immortals. What are your thoughts, Immortals fan Will?
Poggers.
Cool.
No, I think I ranted about this. I think was it last slash FF or no?
It was like
it might
a
have,
few slash FFs ago.
oh, I ranted about how annoying the franchising was that they got rid. Like I get they got rid of Immortals because like they're investing in Overwatch League, and they don't want Dignitas for I don't know why Dignitas either. So they got rid of them for Clutch and Optic, and then after like 2 seasons, they're done. And then this next split, no one's gonna care about Clutch, or probably no one's gonna care about Optic either. So now you have two teams that are just like no one cares about for this upcoming split. They're kind of just like a waste. I wish the news wouldn't have gotten out until after after summer split was over. But what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And now you have two wasted teams, and now Immortals is out for 2 years where they could have been dominating LCS.
How Will?
Because if Immortals was still there, they'd still have X Mithy, they'd still have my boy POB. They could have signed Double Lift. You never know, man. Like it could be completely different. But this just creates a new opportunity for the solid lineup of Vulcan, Betty, Dardoch, I guess Crown, but I also want Keen. That's a toughie.
Get Betty out and put Asta in.
See, I don't think Asta's that good.
Cody's son.
I'd rather have Cody's son. Yeah, I want Keen, but if Keen can't come, we'll get Crown.
You can have Smeb.
Or we just take Keen Crown and then we find a new 80 carry.
No, you guys. Johnson. If you guys get a Korean,
TSM Johnson.
If you guys get a Korean, it's gonna be Smeb. Come on.
Shut up. No.
Dude, come on. They're relegation tier.
Baker?
If there's a Korean who
Immortals
retires,
Baker?
if there's a Korean who retires, it's gonna be Smeb. Smeb is the one who would retire if that was the case. They're a relegation tier team right
now. But anyways, I'm hype.
Yeah.
Too bad they can't come back while I'm still in my class. So I could shit on my classmate who made fun of my Immortal shirt. Fuck that guy.
Oh god. Who would you root for then? Immortals or Team Liquid?
See, that'd be super tough. Because I'm loyal to the Immortals organization, but I'm also loyal to my boy X Smithy and Double A.
What if Immortals bought
And I've been cheering for Liquid.
Turtle?
They doubt they can, but I'd be hype. I don't know. I still think I'd cheer for Liquid because I've been cheering for Liquid for like 2 years now.
Where's your Liquid jersey?
I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been cheering for Liquid outside of LCS. I cheer for the CS:GO team and I cheer for their whatchamacallit team.
Overwatch?
Rainbow Six Siege team. I also cheer for Immortals Siege team, but they're in 2 different division leagues, so.
All right. Thoughts on Ruin joining CLG? Darshan is a free agent now. Ruin was from Fenerbahce. He was give some history. Turkish fans always were saying like, "Hey, who's the better player, Ruin or TF Blade?" And now they're both in NALCS. So that's some context for his skill level. Is that people compared him skill level wise to TF Blade? Or not TF Blade. Sorry, not TF Blade. Broken Blade.
Yeah. I think CLG wins the split now with this.
What? What the fuck?
No. I don't think CLG's benefit. I think their jungler's still dog shit. So.
I think Styx is also too inconsistent right now.
Yeah, I think they might do better, but then again, CLG's like averaging 7th now.
You think they kick Echo Fox out of playoffs with this roster? Solo is not very.
No, because Optic's gonna pop off by dropping Dokka's dumbass just so they can have a good roster for Immortals to take over.
Darshan got dropped before Dokka got dropped.
I just want to see Stixay and Aframu after the split just get dropped so we can have the MSI team from 2015.
Okay. So, also, 100 Thieves announced their final
amazing.
roster. Yeah, amazing, but they're starting mid laner as Saligio. They're not changing from Saligio.
Yeah, I don't think they have an academy.
I think that's really problematic. I think that puts 100 Thieves in the bottom half of the league in terms of like players.
They don't have a mid, but then again, I don't think they could have gotten a mid.
Because the problem is you still can't play through Saligio or Amazing, and you can't play through Someday, and you can't play through Bang.
Is Amazing an import?
No, he's NA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Amazing.
Oh yeah, never mind. That would make sense with Bang and Someday. Yeah, but it's also you can't really like they can't find another mid unless they buy one from another team.
But they need a
But
mid laner they can play through. They need proactive mid or a jungler that they
yeah,
can
but I
play
don't
through.
think they can. They couldn't go get a mid
Hmm.
really, unless because it had to be from NA. Because unless they get rid of Someday or Bang,
Yeah.
because they couldn't go to Fenerbahce and buy whatever their mid laner's name. I don't remember his name. But they can't go out and get a mid laner. They had to get one from NA, and they
Golden
just dropped.
Glue, Demonte.
They could have gotten gold. They could have gotten Demonte if they like Clutch. I'm pretty sure would probably just want to liquidate all assets
Yeah.
at this point. But uh, who knows what they want?
They could have.
I think
Keep in
Demonte. I
mind,
think Demonte would have been better.
100 Thieves could have had Pobelter this season. Just saying.
Yeah, I think 100 Thieves Demonte would be better. But I don't know. I also haven't seen much of Saligio.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I personally like Demonte as a
But there was
person.
also Yusui from Echo Fox Academy, I believe.
Yeah, but I think Echo Fox wants him because I think
Mhm.
they want him to be their new mid laner. The next split, maybe.
Fucking
Next split
Phoenix.
next season.
Uh,
Because he's an NA too, so
Yeah.
that gives sort of that opens a spot up.
okay, so we have
But
100
Echo Fox
Thieves.
will also have to double down after Rick Fox left.
C9, new coach, Rainover.
They drop Reaver for
No, 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 no.
Reaver.
They no. It's
No, no,
a-
I know. But it'd be
How
fun
do
if
you
they
feel
drop
about
Reaver.
Rainover being a coach now?
Rainover, Poggers, Rainover, early pathing, master,
It is fitting with what they want for C9.
the
with
Olaf,
Sven.
Chad.
I think Rainover helping Sven out would
Dude,
actually make sense.
it makes perfect sense. You got two monkeys. Why not make a third one? Now you have an exhibit. Now you have you have the monkey Blabber. You have monkey with glasses, Sven, and then you have monkey with monocle, Rainover. You slowly move up the list until you get to Winston, Reaper.
God damn it. All right, so that's those teams. TSM for the summer, nothing's changing.
No roster change.
Yeah.
Sven is mental.
Clutch Gaming, nothing looks like it's changing.
You think first game TSM plays TL? You think Jensen's gonna hover Ezreal?
Yeah.
That'd be so
Is that
lit.
the first game of the split?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's gonna be hype.
It's always a rematch of the final.
All right, we need to watch that live then.
Yeah, I just want to see him hover Ezreal. It'd be so funny.
Okay, so that's gonna be that. So we covered CLG Cinnamon, blah blah blah. FlyQuest.
No changes.
Yeah, no
Golden
changes.
Guardians.
Golden Guardians, no changes.
They had a coaching change, I think. But that's about it.
So what I'm trying to pretty much imply here is that I think TL is still gonna be the best team in NA now.
I don't think anyone's going to be good enough this summer split.
Yeah, I don't think TSM.
I think the change is going to be through the clump. I don't think it's going to be the top. I don't think the top three are going to change.
I also
It's gonna
don't
be
think TSM is even gonna like be close to TL like they were last split now, because like after TL went to MSI and had to fucking play against IG, SKT, and G2, they're gonna be like, huh, TSM. Yeah, we played against way better teams, and they're gonna fucking understand how to play the game better now. At least I hope so. You know.
That's what everyone hopes NA does, but it doesn't really ever change.
Well, I don't know. I really think teams ramp
It's
up
slight
like, after,
changes,
because
yeah.
I think C9 ramped up after Worlds. Because C9
Yeah.
this year, their only difference is that they have Niski, and they were able to play against a much more stacked TL roster. Like, well, I mean, according to Scrim data, they were able to play against a much more stacked TL roster now. So I mean, I do think C9 was a team that ramped up because their player they actually downgraded in terms of like a player, because they went from Jensen to Niski, who after the split now we know that Jensen was the better player. So, you know, C9 ended up having the downgrade. So we know that Worlds actually did affect them.
Yeah, I think the only change is going to be like, I think Echo Fox. I mean, not Echo Fox. I think Echo. Well, yeah, I think Echo Fox can not make playoffs. I think FlyQuest and GGS are going to fight for that 4th spot again. I think it might be reversed this time.
And then you think CLG gets into playoffs?
I think CLG can make it in. I think 100 Thieves can make it in.
Yeah, I think CLG and 100 Thieves are the ones who are going to fight. And then
I don't think
Clutch.
I think Clutch and
Fox,
Optic are just dog
Clutch,
shit.
Fox, and Optic are all going to be in the 10-9-8.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Yeah.
make a bet about Optic again?
I'm not gonna go as gung ho this time.
You should.
I didn't realize how bad the bottom half of the league was. They were so bad. Holy.
You know,
I'll think about a bet that I can find this.
You know, yeah, we have to make bets before.
I already have to watch 24 episodes of anime.
Well, that's because you made some retard ass Kingzone bet. Like, yeah,
I had
Kingzone's gonna
faith.
3-0 SKT, baby.
I didn't say 3-0. I said they're gonna beat us.
They're gonna beat SKT, baby. Oh, 3-0.
Then they got 3-0.
Your
I stayed up
boys.
and watched that at 3 in the morning, and then I had to work, and I had to go and be
Oh yeah.
That was so bad, dude. I stayed up, watched the whole series, and then I woke up for work at 6 in the morning, and I'm sitting there like groveling to myself, like,
You
"God
know
damn
the
it,
best
I'm tired,
part?
and I had to watch my team get 3.
You know the best part was that you had hope watching that series because Kingzone had a better early game and it looked like they were beating SKT, and then SKT wins a team fight and they just lose.
Yeah, when Def got first blood, I was like, "Oh, let's go! It's over for SKT," and then they just got wiped in like
Unlucky.
16 minutes in at drag.
Oh, super unlucky.
Whatever.
I don't know,
But
man.
finals is over. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a good summer.
Yep. Anything else you want to talk about for this episode?
Nah, watch Get in My Rants when it comes out.
Yeah, dude, Getting My Rants is gonna be lit. We're gonna meme on some idiots, Anivia players, in this Getting My Rants. Yeah.
So Get in My Rants. Who knows what else we'll do this summer?
All right. Well, where can the people find you? What are you gonna be doing this summer? Streaming?
Yeah, I'm trying to hit that fat follower so I can get emotes.
Where can the people find you, Will?
Twitch.tv/Skieco and twitter.com/Skieco_.
All right. Anyways, go follow my Twitter because I love tweeting stupid shit. This is gonna be Jack signing out. Peace.